Review how to find and open up a image in Photoshop and how to edit that image. So the first thing you need to do is open Photoshop. You can do that if you have a shortcut on your dock for the program. This is the icon for that program. If you don't have that, you can click on the face here, the finder. That will take you here. You will click on applications. That will take you to all of your applications. You can scroll to find Photoshop. Here we go. Okay, if you want to add that shortcut that I have down here, all you have to do is click on this and then pick it up and drop it onto your dock. Okay, but I'm not going to do that since I already have one. So you can just double click here to open Photoshop or click on your little icon in your dock. It's up to you how you do that. So I'm just going to double click here and Photoshop opens. So this is your workspace. And of course you can adjust that any way you like. This is sort of how I like my workspace. I like to make sure that the screen, it fills my entire screen here so that I can see what I'm doing. So now I need to find my image. So I'm going to go to File, Open. And that again will take us to sort of that Finder option. Most of you will not have these shortcuts here under Favorites, so what you need to do is under Shared, you will click on 2012 FS Students, and then that will connect to the drive. You'll click on NHS Art, you'll double click on A. Melchioni, and then Art Fundamentals, and then Watercolor Still Life, and that's where all of the images are, okay? So you can click, and then you'll see a preview of that image. Okay, so you can just click through. You can use the keys. There's Chris. Hi, Chris. And find the image that belongs to you. Okay, so let's say I'm going to open this one. This is mine. Okay, so I'm going to click on Open. Okay, now, first thing we need to do is we're going to go ahead and crop this image because there's all this extra nonsense in the background. It's not very pleasing to the eye. And we want to have a really nice professional display of this work online. So you're going to click on the crop tool. So these are some of your selection tools up here, and these are some of your editing and painting tools here. So first we will click on the crop tool. If you are not sure what a tool does, if you just hold your mouse over that tool for a second, a little hint box will appear. So we will click on crop tool. Okay, and then you'll see this little dotted line with these corners here, and this is what you drag in and out to crop your image. And you can see that the area that's gray is what will be removed, and the area inside is what will remain. Okay, depending on your presets and how Photoshop was last used, these numbers may be different for you. Okay, so what we're going to do is for our images, the easiest thing will be to click on Width by Height by Resolution. We want to make sure we have a high enough resolution image so that we can upload it to the internet and that it looks really great. And then if we decide to print it for any reason, it won't lose any quality. So for those of you that did the smaller size paintings, you will type in 18, 12, and then 300. If you did a larger painting, you will type in 24 and then 18. And of course leaving the 300 there because that's your pixels per inch. So this is one of the smaller ones, so I'm going to go back to 18 by 12, and you can see that that changes the proportions of the crop frame here. So when I put my cursor over the corner here, it turns into that little diagonal arrow, and then I can bring in my frame till I get to the edge of the painting. And now you can see that the painting is a little bit crooked. It's not totally straight, and that's okay because we can easily fix that. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to bring it up till I meet an edge. So there we go, and now I need to do this side. Okay, and you want to make sure you're getting rid of all the background stuff. We don't want to have any of that white paper showing through. Now, here was a diagonal arrow, and that's what brings my frame in and out, okay? If you go off to the side a little bit with your cursor, you get a curved arrow. And what that allows you to do is rotate your canvas. So Click here, and I can bring it down and straighten it. I can rotate it as much as I want. Okay, so I'm going to try to line up the edge of the painting with that grid that you see up here, there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And once you're happy with how that looks, you can see how much we've rotated it by how much blank space is up here. If you're happy with that, go ahead and click on the check mark here, or you can press enter.
Chris Weinstein, please call extension 8847. Chris Weinstein, call 8847.
Okay, there's a nice little interruption. So I'm going to actually bring this in a little bit more just to get rid of that bit of background space. If for some reason your picture is off center, that's okay. All you have to do is just click on the image and you can drag it back over to make sure it is within that cropping frame. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to click on the little check up here, and there we go. So this picture actually looks a little bit out of focus, so maybe we should have used another one, but that's okay. So we're going to zoom out so we can see what we're working with. Okay, so here the magnets are showing in the corner, so we need to get rid of those. So the easiest thing to do is click here. Okay, these are some of your healing brush tools. If you click and hold, you will see some of the other options. Obviously, we don't need to use red eye because we don't have a person in there. But your patch tool or your spot healing brush tool will be probably the easiest to use. I like spot healing. This tool here is the clone stamp tool, and that works pretty well too. In order to use that, you have to, I'm going to click here and make my brush a little bit bigger so you can see. So let's just say I wanted to clone stamp something, like let's say this green bit. I'm going to make the brush bigger so you can really see what it does. Okay, so I'm going to say here, I want to pick this up and stamp it somewhere else. So if I went like this, I press my Alt or my Option button. It's going to turn into like a little target, like a little bullseye. I can click, and now that's picking up that pixel information, and I can stamp it anywhere. So I would click again where I want that. So if you were to do that up here, what you can do is pick up the pixel information from here, where it's the orange background paint, and just kind of stamp it on. And that works pretty well, okay? You can also use the spot healing brush tool and just sort of scribble over any areas that need a bit of color filled in. So I'm going to use that here, and I'm just going to go like that, scribble over it.
Jill DeVillio, please call 8847.
And I'm going to do it down to this corner, and then this corner needs a little bit, and down here as well, so you can get rid of that background stuff. Okay, so that looks pretty good as far as getting rid of the magnets. Another edit you can do is to adjust the light levels. So if the photograph is too dark or too light, you can go over to your adjustments, which is on the right hand side. So this here is called your layers palette. This is called your adjustment palette here, and there's a lot of different options. If you want, play around with some of them, but what you're going to do for the final is click on levels. Okay, this is called the histogram, and it kind of tells you where your values are, how they're distributed through your image. Usually you want to have these little triangles sort of start where the mountain starts and ends. So you might want to bring up the lightness a little bit, maybe bring up the darkness as well. You can also just click on auto, and Photoshop will kind of fill in the gaps. If that's something you like, if that looks to you how your image looks in real life, great. A good way to judge is if you have areas that are true white, if they really look white. Obviously this image is hard to tell because there's no real white paper showing through. Alright, I'm going to actually make this a little less dark, and let's say we like that, okay? So let's say we're totally happy, we think this looks great, and we're ready to publish this. In order to do that, you need to go to File, Save As. You just click Save. It's going to save it with that original file name, which is the IMG3457. That doesn't identify who that belongs to. So you're going to click on Save As. And And you also have to keep in mind, right now this is saving as a Photoshop document because we have another layer, okay? So we want to save it as a JPEG. So the first thing we're going to do is go down here where it says Format. Click on the little blue arrows here. Click on JPEG. JPEG is one of those universal files that can be accessed anywhere. So then I would just type in my name and then click on Save. Okay?
Jill, I need to speak to you. It's Linda. Please call me.
Wow, you guys are getting a lot of interruptions in this video. Okay, so now you're ready to upload to Artsonia. So then what you do is you will open up Safari. And I'm going to give you guys these instructions via Google Classroom, so you'll have them. But what we're going to do is we will open up a new tab. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go to artsonia.com/class, okay? And then we have this access code, which I'm going to give to all of you as well. So it's MTPK-SFZT, okay? And then we're going to log in. Okay, great. Now it's going to say search for your first name. All right, so maybe I will search for a V name. So these are all of you that have V names. Let's say I am Victoria. Okay, so you'll just click on your name and then you'll have access to all of the images. So these are all of the works under Victoria's name. It looks like I doubled up some of them. But what you're going to do is click on Add New Artwork. Okay. While you're here, you can click on some of the other information here. Like you could say, oh, I want to title my my mandala project. Maybe I want to write a statement. Maybe you want to explain what color harmony you used or why or what images you used. So you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on back to gallery. Okay, so you can go through, and if you want to make any changes, especially with the sugar skulls, that would probably be a good place to add some of your artist statement information. Okay, so we're going to click on Add New Artwork. And there's all these different folders here where you can add your artwork. So obviously we're not going to add to any of the digital photo files. So we're going to click on Art Fundamentals, Watercolor Still Life. So then we're going to click on Find Image, and then your Finder window will pop up. Again, we're going to have to click through to find the proper image. So if you don't have a shortcut to Art Fundamentals on your computer, which I'll show you how to do in 1 second, you'll click on 2012 FS Students, NHS Art, A. Melchione, Art Fundamentals. While you're here, what you can do is actually pick this up. If you click on this and hold down your button, and you can drop it here into your favorites. And that's going to create that shortcut for you. I'm not going to do that because I actually already have it here, but in case you wanted to do that. So it would look more like this when you click on that shortcut, okay? And then you're going to click on Watercolor Still Life, and you're going to find your image. So I saved that as A. Melchione, even though I'm in Victoria's name, but just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to select Choose, okay? And then you're going to select Upload Image, okay? Now, we did all of the edits in Photoshop, but in case there's anything else you think needs to be done, you can do that. If for some reason it uploads and it's rotated and it's standing vertical when it really should be horizontal, you can use these to fix that. You can also click on Auto Fix. You can undo it, okay? And then click Accept. Now you can add a title. You can leave it, you can just title it Untitled. Untitled. Okay, or you can say, you know, Mason Jars, whatever you want to title it, okay? Then you can click Save and Finish later if you want to go back to this, but what I would do is click Submit to Teacher, and then here you have your artist statement, okay? So you guys are going to work on this today. What would you change if you were to create it again? Why? What are some of the concepts you learned while creating this artwork? Did anything about this artwork surprise you? And describe what you did to create this artwork. So here's where you can type in all of that information, okay? You should be using complete sentences, paragraph form, use a lot of details, and, you know, elaborate. So there's my lame artist statement, but for demonstration purposes. So then you will click Submit to Teacher, okay? And then you will get this. It will tell you you uploaded on this date. It's submitted to me to review it for this project with this title and this statement, okay? And then you're done and you can log out. So it's pretty easy to do the whole uploading to Artsonia. And then when you're done, you can click on Close Session and I will go in and check your work. And that will be part of your midterm grade. Okay? So that ends that. Thanks for watching.